Hello and welcome back to Horizon Minds. I'm your host X, and today I'm with my guest Castro.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
How you feeling today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a nice day. It's hot. I went on a little hike earlier. Got bit up a little bit, but it was worth it.
Gotta put on that bug spray,
Yeah, that is true. But I just sometimes I don't like when you spray it all over yourself. It gives you like that sticky feeling afterwards.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't suggest spraying all over your face.
That's a good point. But yeah, so today I'm excited to bring you guys another interview. Good friend of mine. I've known him for a very, very long time. Without further ado, let's jump into these questions. So, first things first, man. How'd you find your start in music?
Well, technically, I started my first ever, I wrote my first ever song when I was 12 years old, but it was just a bullshit song. I didn't even have a real beat to it or anything. I didn't
just
have,
messing around.
Yeah, I was just it wasn't even, it was barely a song. I just put words and thoughts together on a piece of paper. And I think it wasn't even hip hop. It was like a rock song or something, or a wannabe rock song. But my first real song, I actually wrote, I was 15 years old. That's the ones that the type that I consider saved in my documents. It started off from hip hop movement.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it started from hip hop movement back in school when we had the flex and all that stuff, and it motivated something in me. It turned something on. That switch never came off ever since. To this day. So that motivational drive stuck with me ever since. And so I remember going home, I hopped on my laptop, wrote down my first Google Docs, went and searched up my first beat, and I fell in love ever since. And my first recorded song, I'll say that was when I was 17, and I didn't drop my first song until I was 18. So I officially became an artist at the age of 18.
That's when you got more serious and
yeah. When I found the place I'm gonna record at, found the engineer I want to work with, all of that stuff, and everything was established, set in stone. That's how I ended up finding my place in life, right there with that one.
So what was that? Can you, if you can recall, because it's been a couple of years now. But what was it? Was there a moment where that's what kind of made you decide you want to get serious in music?
Oh, 100%. I still remember the name of the beat that these guys put on. I don't know if you remember people when we were freshmen. I don't know if you remember some of the seniors.
Yeah.
Juan.
Yeah.
Oh. You feel me?
Oh, he made the beat?
Yeah, he I don't think he necessarily made beats. He probably did, but he introduced us to type beats. He introduced us he literally showed us hey, so this is called type beats. This is how you make your music right here if you want to start off amateur, yada yada yada. And it was still, I still remember what it was called. It was it was Drake Trapanese type beat. All the way back in 2017 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's how much it hit me. From that day, I fell in love ever since. I was oh, wow, this is how you do it. This is how everybody makes it happen. And I never turned back ever since. I always just searched up something else I can write off, something else I can jump off of, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
That's how I made my art.
Well, would you say that music is kind of your therapy in a way? Is you use it as a therapeutic aspect as well?
100%. It's it's something that I'll say it kept me sane. It's the one thing if I couldn't describe myself in life, if I couldn't figure out how to make sense of everything that was going on, it was music that gave me that outlet to allow me to connect with myself basically, in a way that I knew I wouldn't be able to without it existing.
Are there any artists that you kind of inspire? Not kind of, but inspire.
Got inspired by?
Yeah.
100%. So, if I wanna say all the names that people like to hear, something like Tyler the Creator or Kendrick Lamar and all them, they were cool too, but somebody that resonated with me deeply in terms of emotions and being honest with yourself is somebody for example Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD was someone that he helped put my friend clique together that I was close with at the time back in high school. He helped seal the wounds that couldn't be stitched up from anybody else, specifically him and somebody like X, because it was more so one was about the music and the other was more about the influence. I love the influence X put out in the world. He helped motivate me to want to be somebody like that in the future. I want to be able to talk to a crowd of young kids or the youth in general and tell them how they can do it too, or anything is possible too, and stuff like that, because the way he touched hearts in the world was powerful.
Absolutely.
I wanna help contribute to at least be part of that powerful source one day.
Absolutely. Yeah, he influenced a generation,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely see how, like, I remember, I hung out with you at that time, and you can see, like, like, not only a generation when it comes to just music, but also the style and everything, and the message as well. And I
Yeah.
definitely can, I see you doing that. You know what I'm saying? If you continue, whether music or not, because music, although it is a wonderful platform, you can use it to push your message and all that stuff, but how you carry yourself as well, how you just talk, how you articulate yourself, you can also change the world using that.
That's what I'm saying. I definitely want to, if not be the reason on the world change, at least contribute to changing the world 100%.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, you're getting started, you know what I'm saying? Not even just started, but you've been started,
Yeah.
One thing that my dad has always said, that when I was younger, I never really, like, understood or, like, took it seriously, but he was like, the best way to build a better world, son, is to build a better you. And me being at, like, 11, 12, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
What in the Tumblr quote ass?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But as I've gotten older, I realized that, like, that's the only thing that you really can do, is just grow who you are, grow the things that that you can control. Because if you can stress yourself out, trying to change the world, but once you start bettering yourself, other people are going to see that, and that's going to motivate those people and be like, damn, like, that guy can do it, and I know he's been through some shit. I'm going through some shit. Maybe I can do it. Yeah. And that's all it takes, is just, like, you start to, even, you don't have to be flashy, nothing like that, but
yeah,
just,
because, like, I'll definitely 100% always admit that whether I'm a big shot or not or something like that. Like, we all know we're human. We all know we have our flaws. Like, I know I'm not nothing special too.
No, well, you're special.
Well,
but
we're
like,
special, but you know what I
mean?
mean? Like, we're all the same. And like, it doesn't matter how much money somebody's going to have, how many cars you got. Like, I'm going to bleed the same blood you bleed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So coming into your 20s, because I feel like it's a tough time, and I know some adults will be like, oh no, but, like, hear me out. As someone who's 22, I'm confused as hell on what to do. All right, I don't know what's going on in the world, and I ask my friends who are also 20, have no clue.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot, and I feel like it's one of those stages in life where you learn a lot, you lose a lot, but you gain a lot. You gain a lot of knowledge in who you are, the things that you want to do. Since coming into your 20s, what would be the biggest lesson that you've learned?
I think the biggest lesson I've 100% learned was learning how to forgive myself. Because you see how already it can just impact you hearing that. Like, forgiving yourself is a very important thing to do, because you have to be able to look back at your actions, especially from your past, and say, like, you gotta just accept, like, hey, I was a dumb kid. Hey, like, I didn't know what I was doing when I was 17. I didn't know what I was doing even when I was 20. Like, I didn't know what I was doing last week.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you have to be willing to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made, no matter the cost, and forgive yourself for the mistakes that you're going to continue to make in the future as well, because we're not perfect. We don't get it right every time. Like, you can learn your lessons, and you can learn how to learn right from wrong, or how to not do this or that again. And there's going to be times where, like, even if you did learn to not do it again, you're going to sometimes do that mistake again.
Absolutely. You're human.
Yeah. And it's all about the attempts of wanting to do better. If you know, like, hey, like, I want to, like, cut down on this bad habit. I want to cut down on these bad mistakes I keep making. Like, just keep working at it. Just keep trying. It doesn't mean, oh, I start eating healthy today and that's it. I never eat a donut ever again.
Yeah.
Like, nah, it's not like, it can't work like that. Like, you gotta have a cheat day sometime. Like, yeah, like how you said, we're human. We're gonna have it's like how if somebody's struggling with addiction, they deal with withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where somebody's had a 100-day chip and then they screw up and they have to restart to that one day all over again.
Have like a relapse.
Yeah, a relapse, exactly.
Absolutely.
Like, everybody relapsed on something at some point.
Absolutely.
And that's totally understandable. And it's the fact that we're human and that we're learning and that we're trying. Keyword trying is what makes it okay.
Absolutely. Like, it's all part of growth. Growth it's not a sprint to success. It's a marathon. You have to understand that there's going to be times where you fall back sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have those days where you resort back to the old ways. And as shitty as it is, because I do it. I feel like we all do it.
We all do it.
But it's when you... There's something on my leg, sorry. So I thought it was something crawling on my leg. But if you stay in those moments and willingly stay, that's when it becomes no longer I'm just having a bad time. I fell back It's you're choosing to be that, you know.
That's what I always fall back to. I always think of the idea of like it's only not okay when you're accepting like, you know what, like screw it, this is me. I'm gonna be this scumbag. I'm gonna be this piece of crap. Like, you know what, this is who I truly am. I might as well be like that's basically, not to throw religion into it, but that's basically what the devil wants you to do.
No,
you know,
yeah.
God wants you to try harder to be better. The devil wants you to say, who cares? You already did it. Just go be that bad thing you don't want to be.
Absolutely.
You might as well now. There's no turning back.
Absolutely.
No, like that's the whole trick of it. That's the whole psychological game behind it. Like he wants you to give up, and that's the battle behind it.
But it's true though. It's like, you know, and you know, not to just only talk about like the devil, but there are certain people in life who, you know, will just be comfortable, although they hate how like their living situation is or whatever they're going through. They won't go through the necessary steps to get out of it, only because it's uncomfortable, you know. And don't get me wrong, sometimes getting out of your comfort zone is very scary. It's a lot of work. It's tedious, but it's probably the most rewarding feeling that you can get when you see the growth, you know. It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
They call it a comfort zone for a reason. You're supposed to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Get out of it.
You know, like, be comfortable for a little bit, but gotta keep growing, you know. You gotta think of it like I said earlier, when like reptiles, they shed their skin, it's not a pretty sight. It's kind of gross, kind of icky.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary one. You know, it's how they literally grow. Same with butterflies who were caterpillars, you know. It doesn't look cool. I mean, kind of cool, but
it does.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a necessary step to grow into something beautiful.
We all shape out of that cocoon at some point.
Absolutely. And we all have to go through our little cocoon stages, which is not, you know, when butterflies are in that stage, they're liquid, you know. That's I don't want to be liquid, but I've been feeling like that. But I know at some point I'm starting to blossom. Everyone will, if you are willing to take those steps.
Next thing you know, you're going to grow your wings and be able to fly.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Now, speaking of flying, what would you say is your proudest moment in life so far?
So we just touched on forgiveness, but now I'm gonna say, like, out of all the things I might have done was like, you know, learn how to drive for the first time, getting my license, or performing music in front of everybody on the stage in front of the whole school for the first time. Out of all that cool stuff, mumbo jumbo stuff I ever did, I think outside of all the materialistic things, the proudest moment I have was recently. I think it was specifically a year or two ago, learning how to love myself for the first time. Like, that's my proudest moment. Like, it was learning how to actually like connect with my own personal being within, because like there's a physical you and then there's the internal you, the metaphysical side of it. And I'm a big believer in spirituality and all those kind of things that not everybody else likes to talk about. So when I was able to feel something within me that I know for certain, without a doubt, is alive, like, and you can't tell me otherwise, like that hit me like a truck right there.
Yeah.
And like it was to the point where like I remember those moments of like when you're alone behind closed doors and you want to take that moment to like cry or something like that. Like I remember like I dead ass hugged myself for the first time, right? Gave myself like a big hug, and to this day I can record it in my memory as one of the best hugs I ever had in my life. And like, yeah, we're not perfect. Like we're gonna probably make that the title of the damn podcast, honestly.
Yeah,
but
it is though.
You know, we're gonna say this over and over again. We're not perfect. I can tell you right now, like a couple years ago I learned how to love myself for the first time. Doesn't mean I'm still not gonna go through days where I feel like crap or treat myself like crap. Absolutely. Like it's a relationship for a reason. People argue in their relationships. Doesn't mean they don't still love their partner, but we're gonna still say some words we don't mean or regret and stuff. Like I still do things that I wish I could treat myself better with. Like, oh, you know, I wanted to go to the gym today, but I didn't go to the gym because I didn't feel like it. And like, you know, that's not showing self-love. Or like, you know, like I wanted to take care of myself today. I guess I'm gonna have to get a haircut tomorrow. Like simple little stuff like that. Like it's okay. Like it doesn't mean that you're, you know, like
neglecting yourself.
Yeah. You know, we're gonna deal with certain days of self-neglect, but it doesn't mean that that's the end all be all and now it has to be F you forever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're gonna have to eventually pick ourselves back up again, because at the end of the day we got our lifespan for a reason. We're given that time for a reason. We're supposed to be here to do the things that like is intended for us to do. If we weren't here tomorrow, then that means our time was up. So if it's not up yet, that means you're not finished. Your work is not done.
You still got to complete your mission, you know? It's never done until your heart stops, you know.
There's plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's when you can be comfortable. That's when you can finally just chill, relax. But until then, you got to keep pushing yourself. Be uncomfortable sometimes. Understand again, you know, it's okay to not want to get out of bed, but you got to get out of bed at some point.
Trust me, I stay in bed for a long time certain days.
Me too. Yesterday I was. But when it comes to growth, I feel like the thing that kind of shoots us forward to like actually start our journey is reflecting on the past. And whenever you do that, what emotions come to light?
So I was able to do that by specifically, what is it called? Facing my inner child, my childhood self. Like I had to go through a time where like that inner child in me was like just crying to me for help, like asking me like, yo, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to do this, like, because he's not realizing that he's just a child trying to control an adult body.
Yeah.
And my adult self had to like take over and like, you know, like basically on some like kneel on one knee, put his hand on his shoulder, tell him like you can relax now, like I got it from here type of thing. Like it's not your fault. You did good, you feel me, because of like you didn't mess up, because the decisions you made led up to this point where now all these other versions of you get to live, and like you see your 30-year-old self, 40-year-old, 50-year-old self. Like, so when I look back at the past and think of what emotions do I feel, I'll admit I feel resentment.
Yeah,
you know,
that's normal.
I feel not. I don't like to say the word regret, because I definitely am a big believer in I want to die with no regrets.
Yeah.
But like I'll feel like something like resentment or anger from time to time, sadness. But at the same time, with those emotions, I also feel like gratefulness. I also feel like abundance with how happy I can be with what I've learned from all that pain. So it's as simple as that right there.
I mean, I don't want to piggyback right off you again, but I feel you 100%. You know, like when I look back to the past, for me, I'm still on that journey. I don't want to sit here and pretend that I have, you know, that I'm on that, you know, that spot yet. I'm not. I'm still working on it, but I definitely feel like that is the main thing of when it comes to like just moving on from the past. Even though, again, you know, we're gonna have our moments where you look back, you be angry, you know, that's normal. But comforting that inner child, man, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I feel like not many people really speak about that. And like we're all just kids. Every person that you see, still kids, inner kids. And I feel like that is the key to like, you know, a long happy life, is keeping that inner child happy and alive. I feel like once that child dies, and that's when you start to age faster, and that's when you start to kind of wither away. So I mean,
you let yourself get old.
Yeah, basically, literally, like, yeah, and it's like you see some people who may not have like an old age per se, like an old number age, but like just that spark is no longer there. You know, you see it in their eyes, and it's unfortunate. Not saying that you can't reignite that spark, but it's very, very hard to. So I mean, props to you again. I really do like the fact that you brought that up, because that was actually going to be a topic for a future video. So stay tuned. But since we kind of touched on the past, we also got to touch about the future. So what do you feel when you think about the future?
So with the future, it's kind of like sort of the complete opposite of how I feel of the past, because with the future, it's more like I feel nothing but excitement. I feel nothing but like whatever you call looking forward to it. I feel very much enthusiastic about the future, because I know that as long as I take the time to learn now, make the mistakes while I can, while it's safe to make those mistakes, because I don't want to make the mistakes I'm making in my 20s in my 30s, you know. I'd rather do it now, learn now, so that way I don't have that big mortgage to pay for, that huge house to worry about, those cars I got to pay off. Like I want to be able to know what I'm doing by the time all that big pressure sets in, so then that way I could be set for my future. And so I know that 100% guaranteed I'm going to be able to have everything locked in together, down packed by the time that time frame comes around. So I think I have nothing but good things to look forward about the future, and hopefully things take off with whatever we're ambitious about. Music on YouTube, everything, all of that stuff. So that's just a bonus factor. You know, that's just the icing on the cake, like the cherry on top.
For me, the future has always kind of gave me this like, damn, like, well, What if it don't work out?
I should have thrown those words into. I do want to also mention the word nervous.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
get nervous about the future as well,
Absolutely.
but it's like a healthy nervous.
No.
You know, it's a good excitement type of nervous. So that's how I look at it.
Absolutely. Like for me, that's the thing. It's like I would tend to like overthink about the future. Like that's my nervousness will kind of play into the part where like I will create this fictional reality that I haven't lived in yet. You know, and it's just like, oh well, I can never do this. I can never succeed in, which I've gotten better at. That's how I was when it comes to the YouTube channel. I kind of talked to you about it, where like, you know, there are times where I'll be making videos or we're just chatting. I'm like, man, like, you know, I don't want to watch this shit. Like, you know what I mean? But like, but then there's always, and I feel like everyone has this. There's always that little voice in the back of your head that like, well, what if it does work? You know, what if we actually what if we gave it a shot?
That's
what if we tried?
Listen to.
Absolutely, and it's happy. It's funny how like the one that's like will lead you to success. Sometimes you can't really hear it. It's always the one like the negative voice is what you hear the most, and it's frustrating. And you know, certain days you may not hear the I call it the hopeful voice. You may not hear it at all some days, and that's okay. But when you do hear it, really listen to it, and you'll be surprised where you will be led to. Now, lastly, what would you say to someone who has gone through a similar upbringing or similar challenges as you have?
I would 100% say that like you need to never stop believing in yourself. Never ever ever stop believing in yourself, even if that means, because like for example, I've had bumps in the road where I've questioned my own personal beliefs, where I've questioned like, do I really think I'm gonna do this? Do I really believe in myself I can do this? All that. And touching base from just the last subject we just finished off of, I believe that's anxiety talking. And I've learned something where they say like anxiety lies to you, relief tells you the truth.
Yeah.
So if you have that relief in your heart, it's because you're being true to yourself. You're telling yourself something that's actually true. The anxiety is what's lying to you, and lies is the only thing that makes your heart jump. That's the only thing that makes your pulse spike. So if you're lying to yourself, you're feeding yourself anxiety. That's what it is. So I don't want to focus on that. I'd rather focus on the hopeful words, you know? So the hopeful words is what leads me to believing in myself. And believing in yourself doesn't always have to mean like, I'm not saying, oh, keep trying and never stop, even if you don't feel like it. Like, nah, there's going to be days, like, I'll be honest. You can be honest with yourself. You're going to have days where you feel like shit. You're going to like not want to do anything. Like, I'll be like, I think I've been writing music for like 6 years now, professionally, at least 6 years. I want to say 5 or 6 years I've been at it consistently, trying to like make sure I have a song out there here and there, just at least if not recorded and posted online, it's at least written. And the first couple years, I'll admit, like I wrote like 20, 30 songs, whatever the case may be, and then it will drop down to like 5 or 10, or as low as like 1 or 2 songs within a year. But even if that's not the consistent rate I want to be at, and I know I'm gonna eventually like rise it up again in the future, one thing I never stopped doing was believing in myself, no matter the days that I've had my biggest doubts. Because if I wasn't writing music, I was inspiring myself. Absolutely. I was inspiring music within me. The days that I wasn't writing, I was listening to somebody, or I was even as it goes as simple as like watching a show, too. Like I'll be hooked on my anime. You know what I'm saying? Like before you picked me up, I was watching anime right now, man.
I feel you.
Like, you know, I'll be stuck on some like Hunter x Hunter or Naruto for a whole week straight, just like trying to like inspire myself to just do something great. Because it's something about like those kind of shows, like even if you're like, because the subject will be irrelevant, nobody's trying to be like the most powerful Hokage ninja master out here or something like that. But at the same time, like it's a symbolism to real life about something. It's like, you know, you got to have that motivational drive that turns into discipline, that allows you to become that best version of yourself that you want to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I take that very seriously, you know. So I feel like it shouldn't be taken with just a grain of salt. It should actually be taken not so lightly, and instead extremely heavily.
I mean, you shit. Drop the mic on us, man. I mean, like, wow. There's not really much else to say. It's super true. I feel like, you know, that's what's going to get you through life. Is like sometimes when you don't have those people, like a support system by your side, and you really only just have you, it's like that's when you really need to have that relationship with yourself. Be like, yeah, I trust you. I believe in you. Yeah, we can do this.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there.
Like, though that type of relationship with yourself is so
crucial.
Yeah, like like valuable. Like it's something that you can't just buy from somebody. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
Priceless.
Exactly. There you go. Thank you. Like it's priceless. Like it's such a powerful tool that you can use, and just again, like it's not easy. It has to. In order to get there, you have to go through the ugliness of stuff, but that feeling of like fully trusting and believing what you can do and what your capabilities. It's man. I'm not there yet, but I'm working, and I can already see the growth from where I was 2 years ago, a year ago, even a couple months ago. Growth is slow, but over time there'll be a time in your life where you look back and be like, damn, I didn't realize how far I made it, and that's when you pat yourself on the back.
Mm-hmm.
But before we end today's episode, anything you'd like to say to the audience? Or
so I think jumping off from what you said, I feel like the biggest pat on the back that you can give yourself is like the realization of how big of a deal it is. Of wow, you thought it was the big stuff that was such a big deal to you, whether it was like the first time you performed or the first time you threw yourself on camera. Like something that's a big deal to me right now is putting myself out there on this podcast with you, for example. Like, and I'm gonna look back and realize it was the small stuff that mattered. The small stuff, like learning how to forgive yourself, or learning how to love yourself, or learning how to be the one to say hi first to somebody that's a stranger in public or something. Those little things like that goes a long way, because it'll be on some shit like you never know, because you said hi to that person first at the subway or at the bus stop. Like 10 years later, you ran into a life or death situation that person was able to save you from, because he remembered, oh, that's that guy that was nice to me. Like, crazy stuff like that will make you look back like, wow, like that's the moments you gotta be proud of.
Absolutely. Like those little victories is what we call them.
Small victories. What counts.
Like you'll be surprised the things that will happen. The doors that are opened by just completing those small victories, and just how you may feel when you finally get that relief of loving yourself and understanding yourself and forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
So good on you, and to the viewers out there, chase those little victories. Again, growth is not easy. It's not pretty, but it's worth it.
And you don't have to be somebody that's never done a single thing wrong in your life to be a good person. Sometimes it's about the ones that done something wrong or did something bad, and it's what they did after, what they did about it is what changes it all to making you considered a good person. So people have to also keep in mind of that too, because we always get misconceptions about what good or bad is, but that's probably something for the next video.
No, definitely. But
stay tuned. By the way, new music coming out whenever, probably next month or so. You'll find out.
Definitely. Make sure you guys check out the tags, not only on the video but also in the description. I have links to everything. All right, brother. I appreciate you coming on to today's episode, and until next time, stay safe. Take care.